And for 3 quarters, Mike, I was feeling really good about the conversation that we had yesterday.
If they shorten games to 43 minutes in the NBA, the Mavs are going to be one of the best teams in this league.
And I was feeling really good because we had the conversation of you had won 2 games in a row. You beat the Grizzlies in a game that even without Ja Morant, you were still the underdog for. Then you've got the Warriors coming to town, and I know the Warriors just finally won a road game, but I still feel like you should win that. Then back-to-back against Charlotte, and all of a sudden, are you talking about a 6-game winning streak? And the Mavericks are like, ha, no lead is safe with us. They were up by 16 points, and then it just fell apart. But for 3 quarters, I was like, oh, yeah.
It was 96 to 80, and then the next thing you knew, it was, I can't remember, 101 to 100. Or 102 to 101. Memphis had taken the lead. You're like, we scored 6 effing points or 5 effing points, and they've scored 20 something. Yeah. And it didn't get any better from there either. I just remember Mark Followell with under a minute to go is like, and the Mavericks have 9 points this quarter. And it's just like, well, I guess we didn't take a timeout, so that didn't work. Let's see. We took out Jaden Hardy, who was our best scorer in the second half. That didn't seem to work by keeping him on the bench. Like, it's just, I get the Mavericks lack talent. Now, people don't want to listen to me when I say that because they're like, Kyrie's going to get the most out of these guys. Well, didn't that seem very much like a Luka basketball game where Kyrie does a lot in the first half and then they start changing their defense up, trying to make the game a little bit more difficult. He gets a little bit tired. I know that also he got a little bit hurt in the game, and I do believe he's going to be out for at least a week because he was in a boot after the game was over. So I just, all of a sudden, hey, Tim Hardaway Jr., you know, he took shots at Luka. Let's be honest here. And Luka tried to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. So they both don't really like each other. And Tim Hardaway Jr. is like, well, the reason I'm so good now is because Kyrie's hitting me on time and I can make every shot. Well, he's gone back to Gallo. Like, this happens with Tim Hardaway Jr. He's Joey Gallo of basketball. You have to ride the streaks. And when he's hot, you got to ride it and enjoy it. But it's not who he is. Last night, he's 1 of 4 for 2 points. Negative 15 because he refuses to play defense. He does take charges every once in a while. I will give him credit. Every once in a while, he will take a very good charge and help you out there. But actually guarding a basketball player and stopping straight line drives to the rim, he's like, yeah, you can go screw yourself on that.
And this is the 3rd straight game where he has struggled. Like, I don't want it to just sound like he had a bad game, so he's going to get crushed. This is the 3rd straight game coming off an incredible high.
We rode a good, I don't know, is it a 3-week stretch?
I think so.
Where it's like, man, Tim Hardaway Jr. is here because of injuries. Is he your second best player on the team? And arguably he was your second best player on the team last night.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 to 3 weeks. You're right.
He was arguably your worst player on your basketball team. But Jason Kidd just can't figure out the buttons this year. I get that people are like, he's just messing around and he's seeing if it works or not. Yeah, he's intentionally effing losing basketball games at 36-36 on the season.
He's talking about you, RJ.
He's trying, and to other people too.
No, I know.
He's trying to win these basketball games. He just keeps punching the wrong button. And I'm not saying that it's easy to punch the right button, but he just consistently figures out a way how to punch a wrong button, whether it's a wrong play, whether it's a wrong defensive deal. Well, I don't know whether it's I didn't call timeout or I called too many timeouts. It's just whatever he does this year seems to go wrong.
Mike, we established last week while Kevin was out doing whatever he was doing, that he's not a coach. He's a mentor. Like that's what he's here to do more than anything is, look, I'm just here to guide the ship. When you talk about what does he do on the court, I don't know either. I think, and I don't know what he does off the court. I don't know what the conversations are like between he and Luka, he and Kyrie. I don't know those things, but it doesn't appear that he's here because of strategy. If you were here because of strategy, Rick Carlisle would be the coach for you.
Yeah.
But he lost the player. He didn't have the respect of the player.
We saw how
anymore.
much Luka hated him the other night.
And so that's where this, like, okay, do you have to go back to a strategist? Because I think that Jason Kidd's more like, nah, those guys get it. They see the game the way I did. I'm going to let them figure it all out. And once they figure it out together, whenever, you know how when you give somebody an idea, but you make them think it's their idea and then they take ownership of it? That's what he's trying to do. It's just failing in the regular season for them really badly right now.
Yeah.
And what's even worse is we haven't gotten the opportunity to see these two play together at a high level.
Yeah,
and that's what we think would be awesome, would be if they could click for 3 games.
And I think
awesome
Kyrie's
would it
out
be?
the next 3 games.
Yeah.
And it's hey, he's hurt. His foot hurt. He got hurt again last night. He's in a walking boot. He's probably not going to play tomorrow night. He's probably not going to play the night after that or the night after that. I believe he's going to miss at least 3 games and then try to come back. And I think that Luka's going to try to come back tomorrow night. But then it's going to be Luka playing without Kyrie for the next 3 games. So you're going to get to the end of the year, very Brooklyn Nets. You traded for Kyrie, and they're going to have about 5 games together if they're in the play-in situation.
And Kyrie did say, and there's a few different things there, that the walking boot is just precautionary, but still alarming. And he said he did not hurt his ankle. He's concerned that he re-aggravated the foot or the toe injury. So you know what I hate about that scenario for tomorrow night then? Because that's going to feed back into the narrative of Luka and Kyrie not playing together again. And we might be stuck with that for the rest of the week. And there's not really anything I can do about that.
And really for the rest of the year, there's so
you
few
might
games
be right
left.
about that, yeah.
They're only going to play about 5 to 7 games together by the end of this year. And then you're going to expect that they're going to have great chemistry on the court. Like, it is what it is. This has been a waste of a year. I can't wait for it to be over, to be honest.
Would you rather, I swear I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Would you rather them just miss the play-in than be in the play-in tournament?
Yes. Because I need it to be assigned to Cuban and to Nico and to Finley and to Kidd. There needs to be extreme changes here. Extreme changes.
The biggest one that has to happen is you have to have better talent at rebounding and in at least interior defense. You got to find somebody that can do that.
Totally agree.
Because if they can't make a stop late in the game or get a rebound late in the game, that's what puts them in these. Hey, we're up by 10, everything's fine. Well, the opponent made stops and you couldn't. That's the problem.
Or to your point, you make a stop, but you give up an offensive rebound, and then you make a stop again, and they get another offensive rebound. They put the ball in. They actually shot 33% from the floor on that possession. They still got 2 points
because they more than doubled you up on the offensive glass. I'm not saying I want this to happen. I'm just asking if you think this is a viable thing, because this sounds like something the Mavericks would do. They miss the play-in tournament, or they're still in the play-in and they end up not making the real playoffs. But Mark Cuban and Nico and everybody comes out. They get Kyrie back, and they're like, well, they just didn't have enough time. This is the team.
Oh, 100%.
And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, too, is let's be honest. They tried to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. Nobody in the NBA wanted him.
Yeah.
I talked to my dude in Cleveland. They're like, they actually think the Mavericks actually wanted something back. We're like, look, we'll take him off your hands, but we got to send a horse crap contract your way, like with it. Like if you want Kevin Love or something, we'll do it because we're going to release him anyways. But it's like Tim Hardaway Jr. is not a wanted player in this league. Christian Wood, unfortunately, in a weird way, because he did contribute a lot last night, is not really a wanted player in this league. So you just start going down your list, and Wood's a free agent anyways. They're just going to let him walk. But you just start looking. Reggie Bullock's not really a wanted player in this league. He's a contributing player. I don't want to take anything away. Actually, Tim Hardaway Jr. can be a very good contributing player for about 30 games a year. It's just the other 30 that you're going to have to live with that he is a negative player for you and really hurting your basketball team. The positives I can take out of this year, because I'm like, dude, this is not good. This is not a good basketball team. It's not going to be a good basketball team yesterday. And I get, like, Kevin, you weren't doing anything wrong. You're like, hey, it's a good basketball team. They beat San Antonio, and they ended up beating the Lakers. It's like, look what's happening. They've won 2 in a row. Can they win a whole bunch in a row?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think they can.
And can I just tell you the thing that is frustrating about that, Mike, is I would feel so much different if you just didn't see the signs at all. Like, if let's just say the Mavericks lost by, 14 points, or they lost by 4 points because they made this Herculean comeback when they were losing by 12 points in the fourth quarter. The thing that consistently infuriates me is there are stretches in the game where you're like, you probably should have won that game. Like, I think it is not too much to ask if you're winning by 13 points going into the fourth quarter that you win the damn game. And that's the part that infuriates me about this team, is there are moments where I'm like, we've dominated this whole game. Why don't they win?
So let's be honest here. Rick Carlisle was probably a D-head. to Jason Kidd, to Dirk Nowitzki, to Luka Doncic. He's not probably the most likable coach. He's probably one of the least likable coaches, but he is one of the best coaches in the NBA. And I guarantee you guys will remember this. Do you remember, and this is different because it is playoff time. Do you remember when Portland came back from like 15 down in the fourth quarter in Game 4 and beat the Dallas Mavericks to tie the series up at 2?
I thought we were screwed.
Did Rick Carlisle say, well, I wanted them to figure it out on their own? Oh, you know what? I'm just watching like you guys are watching. No one died. Or did he go, just so everybody can remember who forget this, did he go, that was on me. I did a horrible job in the fourth quarter of stopping their momentum, of coaching differently, he took all the blame. He said it's not anybody's fault. It's not Sean Marion's fault for the way that he guarded Brandon Roy. It's my fault. I am the one to blame. I'm going to, he didn't say this, but he's pretty much, I'm not going to sleep tonight because I felt like I didn't help my guys win in the fourth quarter. I left them out on an island to lose. Rick Carlisle says, I leave them out on an island to lose. Blame me. Do not blame anybody on this basketball team. Have you heard at any point this year of Jason Kidd going, I'm the reason we lost this game?
No, because instead, last night, what I know agitates people is you got this.
Burned 2 of them when they made their run there. And so the third, we feel that the game is under control. We've talked about trust between player and coach. Players feel that, when you take a timeout, you kind of send the message that you don't trust them. So we've talked about this for the last 2 years, and I trust that group out there that they're going to stop the run by getting a score, by getting to the free throw line, or by getting a stop. And just understanding that's the way we work. I trust those guys out there that they're going to do the right thing, believing offense can stop a run, trusting Kai and those guys, and they've done it before. So to take a timeout in a third, sometimes it could be a little early to do that.
He's trusting them. Jason Kidd was drafted in 1994. Dirk Nowitzki was drafted in 1998. Sean Marion was drafted in either 1999 or 2000. Same with Jason Terry. Like, these guys had spent over a decade in the NBA on all-star teams, 40 to 80 playoff games. He's acting like he has the 2011 Dallas Mavericks, and they're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Josh Green's barely played in the NBA. Like, when you start looking at these guys, they look to the bench going, I don't know. I've never made an all-star. One dude out there, Kyrie Irving's actually considered like a well above average basketball player. Christian Wood is considered around the league as a stupid basketball player. Let's be honest. Dumb people are dumb, and we have to call them out sometimes and go, they're dumb. I have to help them. That's fine. Help them. Don't go, I'm just going to let them die on their own. Sometimes you have to help. I do not have, Jason Kidd, just a reminder, you do not have Tyson Chandler and Dirk Nowitzki and Sean Marion and yourself and Jason Terry, and I know Caron Butler. You don't have guys that are 10 to 15-year vets in this league who have made all-star teams, who have been through playoff battles left and right. This isn't Phil Jackson coaching Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen or coaching Kobe and Shaq and all the veteran guys around those superstars. It's not the same thing. You have to help. You don't have a talented team. You don't have a smart team. You got to help. Damn it.
Needed that last little
He's waiting to turn it all on during the playoffs, guys. Oh my God. He's going to flip all the
Corey,
switches.
As a Mavericks fan, I would love that. I just don't know
everything. You remember when Maxey last year couldn't hit a 3 to save his life for like 3 months, and then turned out he hits like 10 in a row. And then
this is the same thing.
Nobody was very good at defense, and then all of a sudden they clamped it down. And Luka scores. And so it's just, dude, it's going to be fine.
Baseball
just
nuggets coming up next. Should Mike Maddox go out and try to help Jacob DeGrom every inning? Hell no! It's Jacob effing DeGrom. Should he go out there if Jack Leiter gets called up and maybe help him out through the first or second inning? Yes, he should, Jason Kidd. Fart knocker.